Here.
David Ebel.
Present.
Ron Page. Here.
If we could have a moment of silence, please. Okay, next up will be approval of the agenda.
There was a change you requested.
There was a change.
They requested.
Yes, Commissioner's proposal for increased position to be moved to new business.
Yes,
There's a change.
that's what you requested.
Okay, so that has changed.
That's what you would be making a motion to change.
We need to make a motion to change that.
It had already been circulated.
Commissioner's proposal for increased position to be put in new business.
Okay. I make a motion to remove E from old business, Commissioner's proposal for increased positions to new business.
So we have a motion to move E in old business, Commissioner's proposal for increased positions from old business to new business. And by David Nebel, seconded by Ron Page. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstain? Motion.
I make a motion to approve the agenda now as we have changed. As amended. As amended. Thank you.
As amended. We have a motion for to approve the amended proposal, the amended agenda. Do we have a second? Joe Kaiser seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, approval for the amended minutes from May 5th special meeting.
It should say amended.
That shouldn't.
Yeah, I should say amended. Or minutes for the date of the special meeting.
It shouldn't say amended, it's just, okay. These are the, for the road repairs.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody had a chance to read those.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as. May 5th. For the amendments.
There was no amendments. She said amended, that's what she.
Okay, I just think both weeks. I'm making a motion to accept the minutes as written.
There's a motion to accept the minutes of the May 5th special meeting by David Nebel.
Second.
Second by Ron Page. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. If you had a chance to look at the minutes from the April 21st meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes as they are written.
A motion by David Nebel to approve the May 19th minutes. No, I'm sorry, April 21st minutes, my apologies. Do I have a second? Joe Kaiser seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We will now open up the mic for property owner discussion. Please hold it to 3 minutes. If you could just line up behind the microphone over there. And remember to state your name and your address and try to speak clearly into this so we can understand. All right? Go ahead.
Put the switch over for me, Ron. Put pressure on the top.
All right, better? Yes. Good afternoon, my name is Rhonda Moore. I am a property owner and permanent resident of of Cherokee Village. I've owned my home on Lake Aztec since 2009. Before that, I had a home on Flathead for several years. I'm here today to honor my daughter and only child, Amanda, who died when she was 23. But I want her memorial to be a lasting one, and I need approval from you, the SID commissioners, to move forward with my plan. I'm not asking for funding for this project. I will cover the cost myself. I'm simply asking for your permission. Amanda loved our adventures here in Cherokee Village. One of her favorite activities was spending time at the waterfall in the center of the village. We would hike the trail along the waterfall, climb on the rocks, play on the swings, and splash in the streams of lakes. We spent many happy hours at the waterfall, and I know it's still a very popular spot for visitors and residents alike. So here's what I'm thinking. I would like to have a memorial bench permanently installed at the foot of the waterfall facing it. Ideally, I would like the bench to be placed between the waterfall and the swing set, but closer to the falls. I have in mind a metal bench that's plastic coated to withstand the elements, but I also want it to add to the aesthetic of the area. I have already done some research into benches that I feel would be appropriate, and I have some representative photos I'd be happy to share with you all at your convenience. I would appreciate your input on the choice of the bench so that SID has a voice in both its appearance and placement. I would also like to have a discrete metal plaque attached to the front of the backrest, bearing her name and a brief dedication or description. As I mentioned, I am not asking for funding. I will cover the cost of the bench. I have no idea who to contact to actually install it. I was hoping you had a crew, or you know of a crew that could handle that. Thank you for listening to me today, and thank you for your consideration of my request.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer.
Rhonda, are you talking the waterfall over there at the Sequoia? At Sequoia?
Yes, in Panthers Park.
Okay,
Have
thank you.
you, support, have you, basically?
I mean, Cherokee.
Yes.
Yeah, Cherokee.
Yes.
Three lakes.
Any other questions?
Have you got any plans drawn up or anything on that, or you just started?
I've been looking online and I have found some, the ones that I'm specifically looking for are the ones that are mounted in ground so that they can't be stolen or washed away. And like I said, I do have a few photos that I would be happy to share with you to show you that I'm not trying to get some cheap, nasty little, I want it to last.
Okay, when you get some plans drawn up or something, just let us know, and we'll help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Mark Frankowski. I'm here to speak to you on, this is new business item. Commissioners proposal for increased positions, since y'all commissioners were not party to the lawsuit, except for representing the board that was party to the lawsuit, for which I fought against this, SID. I need to inform y'all, I guess, some information, about the lawsuit. Specifically, paragraph 20 in the settlement agreement, court order, allow the board to become an elected commission board. Now that y'all become a commissioner. It expanded the current commission of 3 appointed commissioners to 5 elected commissioners. This wasn't done willy-nilly. This was done in accordance with Arkansas law. Arkansas law allowed SIDs that were created prior to March of 1981 to continue as appointed boards unless a 35% petition of property owners, or a petition of representing 35% of the realty ownership of the SID is presented to the board. And then an election could occur. That's Arkansas Code 14-92-202, Bill D. 1. No, excuse me,
So 14, say that go to this.
14-92-202, little b, I believe. Basically allowed the district to provide its ability to change from an appointed board to a elected board. At the time, class council informed class payment committee, that the board owned over 35% of the realty in the district, namely y'all's foreclosed lots. So, in accordance with that, we proceeded to draft paragraph 20. So, paragraph 20 then had the component of allowing the board to go from 3 commissioners to 5. And that was Arkansas Code 14-92, 202, little b, 2. Take it back, that was the highest number on the. And so that expanded this board from 3 to 5. So, all of this was done, again, without lost privilege, because y'all were not commissioners, but it was done in compliance with Arkansas law. And so, 5 commissioners is what the plaintiffs, my wife and I, have agreed to with this board. And expanding it to anything else is going to cause a problem. We do not wish to go back to court to deal with any more matters in keeping the provisions of the court order and the agreement.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's 3 minutes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
My name's Ed Soka. I'm a property owner here in Perryton Village. I understand you rebuilt Thunderbird Pool. Looks beautiful and everything. Did you replace all of the equipment in the pump?
Is it a question or?
It's a question.
Yeah, you've got 3 minutes to speak. I'll be happy to talk to you afterwards, but
Okay. Did you or did you not replace the
we
equipment?
did not. We did not be able to replace everything, but we replaced some things, sir. And
Okay.
I'd be happy to talk to you about it afterwards.
Well, I was just wondering if you didn't replace everything, is there a contingency or are you saving money to replace things when they break? Because I know they do break. I take care of the pool at the townhouses.
If
Boy,
you
do I
reviewed
know
our
that.
budget, we did put money in the budget for equipment repairs.
Okay.
We do every year.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hang on just a second, please. Sorry, Dave, go.
Okay, so, let's see, in their own business, we're gonna discuss the firehouses. I'd like to.
Can you speak up?
Speak up.
We can't hear you.
It sucks being gone. Can you hear me?
You can take it off if you want to. Hold it.
So I see on here that the firehouses are up for discussion again under old business, and I'd like to urge you guys to go ahead and convey those 3 firehouses to the city. The city would benefit better, the citizens would benefit better, because the city can get grant money, government funding, where for us, as CIDA capital improvement, we're gonna have to go in debt and pay that off. So I recommend that you guys seriously consider getting this done. What's different from this and the dog park, or the dog kennel? Y'all gave that to the city,
What?
the dog kennel?
Oh, we wouldn't give you.
Okay, well, still, I mean, here we are, I mean, the lawsuit said for $1 a year, and I think it's the lifetime of the city that it's good for. So we might as well, it doesn't provide benefit to the city or the property owners, but it does provide benefit to the citizens of the village, the city itself, so, I think we should go there. I also don't believe you can use it as an asset to secure a loan, to say, fund a levy on Sequoia, or swimming pool in Omaha. The law specifically states that you have to, you can only use that which you are doing, you have to improve it on the Superior Law. So, no reason for it. And lastly, I echo what Mark said, I had a little bit here, I can say, so, y'all were complaining about not having enough people to run for the 5 we got, now you want to expand it. Makes no sense. But anyways, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Do we have anyone else? Okay, with that, oh, no, one more.
I just want to say thank you for fixing the maintenance road so quickly. You jumped on that, it's like, oh, mackerel, I'm only in Cherokee Village right now, you got done so fast, thank you.
Thank you.
I know, it's not done, but it's years ago.
Okay, with that, we move on to Jim's update.
April flood updates. As we talked about, the road has started, but it's not finished. The weather's preventing them from being able to go in and pack and do a lot of the stuff, but at least we've got it passable so the employees can get to the shop and stop driving on the grass. The insurance claim is still in the process. They were here last week looking at all the roofs and anything and everything that we can claim on this flood and damage. We have an $83,000 quote to bring the maintenance shop back to where it needs to be. Just last week, they were able to get everything out of there and moved out of the building. All the walls have to come down, all the insulation has to come out. There's 2 quarters of the building that's metal that has to be repaired. What we have found since the flood, now every time we have a little flash flood rain, it floods the shop again. So the foundation has been breached. We've got a little more work to do back there. I'm still waiting on a second bid. I've contacted 3 companies. I was gone last week, none of the 3 replied, and Lynn said none of the 3 went down to look at it. So I'm gonna reach out a little further and see if we can't get someone to give us a bid against this. Mold is the issue down there. It's growing inside, behind the wall of the insulation. It's in the bathroom walls. It's something that's a hazard for them to work in. So we've got to correct that, and hopefully before the next meeting, I'll be able to provide you with those bids. One of the things that we also did when that flood came through, the storm came through, is we had all of our buildings looked at. We knew that we had shingles that were falling off the building over at Thunderbird. We had the flat roof punctured. We sent that in for a claim, and they've already paid that claim off. They actually paid us the $27,000 for the shingle roof that we put on in 2022 from the hail damage. So we got a check in for that already. We have an area at Omaha that leaked. It's been leaking for a little while, but we were able to include that. We got an $1,870 check. It'll help us seal that little area where it's coming down from the auditorium into the hallway. But we did receive that also.
Didn't we have a new roof put on Omaha not too long ago?
Yes, sir. And
And it's leaking?
there was no damage to the roof itself, like hail damage or anything like that. But we put the roof with the pitch on the auditorium, and we were not able to do that on the other 3 sections of that building that
So
are
it's on the
still
flat roof?
It's where the flat roof meets the wall of the auditorium. So I think we can flash it and seal it. That $1,800 ought to more than cover it. But that is something I've still got more locations that we're looking at, so we'll still have more updates to come. I had a company, AgriTurf, came through and wrote up our quotes for the golf course. By the next meeting, or before the next meeting, we're going to send over some proposals from the golf committees, with the golf committee's input on our sand tracks. We've got 2 of them that were washed out. We have 2 others that are holding water. This is the perfect time for us to be able to either convert them to grass or use our insurance money and go back and fix everything without our sand. So those are things that are going to be coming up that we're going to be talking about and how we want to move forward with that. But I'll give a recommendation from the golf committee and present that at the June meeting. see our tennis court, pretty much, they're gonna give us all of the money that we can get on that tennis court, but it's still not gonna make it brand new. We're gonna have to go in and do some repairs to it, resurface it, to be able to have it, or remove it. Is there a need to keep the tennis court? That's gonna be something that y'all will need to decide, and I'll have some numbers by the next meeting. I think as far as the floods went, that's really our biggest update and what's still in the works, and just kind of give you an idea of what was coming in, what we're still looking at, what we're gonna talk about the next meeting. Any questions about the floods? Okay. Miniature golf at the Omaha Center, we have 6 holes left. Again, blue and water do not go together, so we have tried very hard. We need 5 dry days on that concrete to be able to finish those 5 holes. My maintenance guys are the ones that are working on it and finishing them. By the next meeting, obviously we're not going to get Memorial Day for the Omaha Center miniature golf, so before the next meeting, it should be open. Any questions about miniature golf at Omaha Center? Irrigation letter to the lake owners. This is the same letter that we sent out last year. I just updated it. I think Tony's.
Original business.
South Park, well.
To
Oh,
Southwest.
I'm sorry.
Well,
South Course well update. So it appears that back in 2002, the developer became delinquent on the property at the corner of Potawatomi and Onaga. And that property was sold. It's 15, a little bit more than 15 acres. On the corner there is a neighborhood park, and we believe that there was originally an easement from the developer giving them permission to drill that well. Of course, that was back in the early 70s, so I'm still trying to find the documentations that will support that, but I have been in contact with the new owner, who is the 4th owner since that property was foreclosed on back in 2002. Very nice gentleman. I believe he's trying to turn that into a residential lot over there. Again, I've sent over the information to our attorneys to come up with some type of proposal. And Mr. Burgeon has asked that we communicate with each other, and that he has no problem with us using the well. He just wants to make sure we have something in writing, that is the right thing to do.
Well, as I said, if they get kind of where they don't want to give us access to it, we do have the right for eminent domain. We have to.
Okay.
We
Well,
might want
hopefully
to
it's
present
not,
that to the lawyers too.
yeah, hopefully it's not gonna come to that. He
I hope not.
was a really nice guy, and I think, I asked him, was he aware that the well was there when he bought the property? He said, no, nobody said anything to him about it, so I feel like that, we can work this out.
See if we can work with
Be very
it,
careful.
yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions about that? All right. Excess proceeds letter, that's the other letter that you have, the original letter there, Tony, that's for everyone to sign. This is just updated from the one that we did in November of '23. I believe last year we collected a little over $46,000 of excess proceeds from the Commissioner of State Lands. So the properties that go back to foreclosure, when they get auctioned off and people pay more for them than what was the outstanding debt, that is now something that the Commissioner of State Lands gives a refund on. You have 3 years to be able to do it, so we've already started on the ones that happened last year for this year. But they have to have that updated letter giving me permission to sign all the documentation.
On that note, I would like to have a copy of your job description so that we can go back and track all these kinds of things in the future.
I'd be happy, if you would like to put together a job description for me, Ron, I would be happy to look at it. That's something I was never given. I kind of jumped into this job with my feet in the fire, and I haven't jumped out of the fire yet.
And I fully understand, that's why we're looking at different activities that are critical to the operation for the property owners in Cherokee Village, which means they need to understand what the role is for commissioners and what the role is for all and it says the mayor and the city council members. So thank you very much, I appreciate you addressing that.
So what this is a continuation from last year, correct?
What that letter
November?
is just an updated letter. The
Right.
last letter that was signed was in November of 2023.
Okay.
We used that for the year of 2024. Now we're gonna
And-
start sending in our next load, and I was just updating the letter.
Okay, yeah, and this for refunds for, that's because I'm not,
Excess proceeds from lots that were foreclosed, that were sold for more than they were foreclosed. If you look up on commissionerofstateland.org, it'll give you a great description of that.
she was something to come, for the refunds to come back to us. Okay, got it. All right, dam updates.
Today I received a call from the engineers that they are here with the weather and everything else. They're working this in this window to be here starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. They will begin the boring on the dam at Sequoia. The dam will have to be closed for Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. until Friday morning about 10 a.m. They should be finished with the boring on Thursday night. It's having the equipment picked up off the dam. That's gonna take that time on Friday morning, and they said by 10 a.m. they would be out of there, and that part would be over. We also have clearing going on at the bottom of that dam right now, so there's a lot of equipment going on over there right now to prepare for the boring. And this was all part of phase one that they told us about in February and March. And we're to the point now where we're gonna need to close the road. We contacted City Hall. They suggested we reach out to the ambulance and the schools to let them know. We took care of that today as well. We posted it on social media. I think the city also sent out a blast. The office is sending a blast out, so we'll get as many people contacted as we can. It's just the dam, not the road going either direction. Just the dam so that their equipment can sit on the road and bore the holes down in the top and in the bottom.
So Sequoia Ridge Road, just across the dam will be closed.
Just the dam.
All right, so let's, yes,
And that part is not, it's called the dam road.
it's called the dam road, okay. Gotcha. So the dam road, for everybody's clarification, the dam road will be closed tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Till Friday at 10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. to bore their holes. I saw the equipment out there today, so I figured I'd see if I could start.
Has any of the other commissioners had any questions regarding that road other than myself?
I talked, I mean, such as,
Well, I was concerned because of the price, and I told them that Betsy had gone out and secured a number of bids, and that we, as a team, agreed that we would move on with the lowest bid, and that was what I've explained to people. I just wondered if anybody else had that same issue, position.
That's not correct information, Ron. The
I'm not sure.
engineer is who is proposed, and that's what y'all went on. We didn't go
We had a
to
special
multiple
meeting.
engineers. We went to one engineering firm that we have been working with since 2023.
And so all the work that's being done right now doesn't have anything to do with the road surface, they're just having to close that part of the road to.
I understand, I just wondered because we were confused, and Walmart said, hey, what do you think?
yeah, okay. All right, with that, I'm going to, Chairman Stan, I don't have any
So
statement.
the way
This sounds
commissioner's
like-
proposal, we moved E
To
F.
E, we move to new business.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
right,
What's business?
put it in.
so
You got your state?
I don't understand.
Nothing.
So nothing for stating. So our first old business is firehouse lease update. As you know, that we sent a lease to the city of Cherokee Village. The city council had many questions about it and voted it down and came back with a proposal for us to deed these over to them for $1 a piece, and was it just $1 total? I'm trying to think what it says right here. And then paying for closing costs as well. We met with them recently, 2 weeks ago, at City Hall, to discuss this, and now it's back in the ball's back in our court for us to vote upon it. So our goal here tonight is to either accept or decline their offer, their counter offer.
I thought we had another, communication with the lawyer about this. Or am I wrong?
Well, the communication came back that I believe we read was that they were saying we could sell it, but I think I did not know that was on the table. So first, we would have to either decline or accept this, and then we can decide if we decline it, then you can talk about what we do with it next. So, do we have any motions concerning that before we do a discussion?
As everybody pretty well knows, I am not in favor of this, but after talking with property owners and citizens, I have changed my mind to move forward with the firehouses being sold to the city. So I make a motion to move forward with this proposal from the city to accept the proposal for the purchase of fire stations.
So we have a proposal from David Neal to accept their counteroffer. And do we have a second?
I will second.
And I've got a second from Joe Kaiser. Do we have any discussion?
I would like to, I've sweated over this and tried to come to an educated decision the best I can. And you know, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but I've got a gut feeling that that's just what we need to do. We don't need to be in the fire business. And they have many opportunities with that property to do something different than we could ever do. And so it's just my personal feeling, and as a commissioner, I would like to accept that offer that the city has provided for us, and let's just move forward and quit kicking the can down the road.
Thank you, Joe. Any other discussion?
Then the possibility would be for us to allow them to pay all of the city, to pay all the fees, and we could turn over that property to them at no cost to SID at this point, like they originally requested. And we hope that that would allow them, the city, again, and the fire department, to go to the state to ask for funds to support different upgrades to our firehouses and equipment, which is key to the happiness of the folks in Cherokee Village, the property owners.
Thank you, Ron. Any other discussion? Call a vote. We'd like a roll call vote, please.
So you're going to fix it so that the city pays for all of the expense of us?
That's what was.
That was decided at that discussion, that work meeting 2 weeks ago.
No, they want the suburban improvement district to pay all the closing
No,
costs.
they made a motion during that meeting. They made a motion and they took that whole section out. They weren't paid for it.
It's not going to be any expense to us to do all the paperwork.
Correct. Like a roll call vote, please. Benson?
Susan Jett,
Yes.
Joe Kaiser,
Yes.
Tony Stolston,
Yes.
David Depot,
Yes.
Ron Page.
Yes,
The motion has been accepted. We are going to accept their counter offer for the counter Okay. Would you like me to contact the mayor and then? I'll contact the mayor and then let them
You will?
get that. That's it.
We'll take care of that.
That's it, I'll take it.
Thank you.
Okay. Waste management and land purchase.
May
I was gonna say, if we could just, get a copy of all that to give to all the commissioners for us to look at, to consider, because I don't know, none of us have any copies of this or what you're proposing right now, so we'd like to take that to the next month before we, let us give us time to investigate it and to look into it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you can provide Betsy with a copy that we can,
Yes, you have all of that.
then she can provide us with all, provide all of us with copies.
Is there any discussion on that waste?
Well, we're not gonna do it, we're not gonna make any decision, we're just getting a proposal right
Just
now.
do it after.
Afterwards, you can say something during your comment. Yeah. Okay, proposal. All right, next up is. Okay, next up is the irrigation letter to the lake owners. Personally, we've done this already. I have not personally been signed any letters, any more letters. This has already been given to the lake owners, the property owners last fall. And I don't think that we need to spend any more money through postage or continue to harass any more of these property owners with another letter that they've already received. Is there anything else we need to do about this?
I think it's a gentle reminder for people that are still not following the letter.
We don't know if they're following the letter or not because we haven't found anybody who's doing it right now.
Yes, we have.
We have? Then, well then, have we done something about
Do
it?
we, Betsy? Do we have every property owner's email address?
I can confirm if I have every email address of Lake property owners, that's the only people that we sent that letter to.
Right.
And it was proposed that we send the letter as a gentle reminder each year before you would go to the next step of disconnecting or removing or finding someone for doing it. And there are people out there that are doing it.
Who suggested it?
Our attorney suggested it last year, they put the letter.
Last year, but no one's-
Yeah, and then the-
My contention is right now is that I think we're getting ourselves into something that we probably don't want to. I do know there will be pushback, legal pushback.
It's against the law.
I understand what you're saying, but we've also let them, 20-some years ago, they came up, property owners came to the city meeting, met with the commissioners, they had a meeting about this, and the commissioners allowed them to continue to do it, and it's been over 20 years. Well, those that were there, that was 40 years ago. 20 years ago, there was a meeting with property owners that I do know about. So, I'm sorry I'm talking, please excuse me, I'm not finished saying something.
Well, let Betsy.
No, not me, no, I know, I got this straight from people that were there.
Several property owners have already.
I'm talking,
received-
thank you, please, I'll be calm, I'll be calm. I understand what you're saying, but I also know that they've been letting them do this for over the last 20 years. They took no action 20-some years ago, after a big meeting. So, I'm just letting y'all know that if you continue to push this, you will get legal pushback that I think that we cannot afford or should have to deal with. I do not believe that this is a detriment, it hasn't been detrimental to our lakes, unless you, like I said before, unless you show me that there's some actual problems with this concerning our lakes, then I would reconsider that position, but that's how I feel about that.
First off, it's against the law to draw water from any lake in the state of Arkansas. Okay? Second off, some of these property owners have already received letters of cease and desist, which they have completely ignored because they think they are above the law. So if they want to go legal with us, we will take them to court. And we will show them the law if they needed to show them the law.
I need to see the law too, because what,
Ask Arkansas Game and Fish.
Okay.
They will show you.
well,
Do your research.
I'm not,
Do your research before
I've
you talk.
been researching.
On the lake,
Okay, I have, and
a
I
lot of
was
people
gonna
have
say,
taken their funds out already.
okay,
You've
I'm
got
I'm letting you know that.
They are above the law,
Okay, well,
and they have conned
we will find you, we will find out.
May I speak?
There's nothing else to speak about, I'm not signing the letter. You
I'm
can,
not asking you to sign the letter. I'd
Okay.
like to inform you that there's other people in the community who have
Okay.
also contacted our office that said,
Okay.
if you allow them to continue to pull the water for irrigation, then
Mhm.
they're gonna do the same thing.
okay, so any way we go with this, since we brought it in, since we decided to open up this can of worms, any way we go, we're going to see some legal action, so we'll see what happens from
We
there.
started this the first spring that I was a commissioner because we realized it was a problem. It was that first year was hot and the lakes were low, and we discovered that
Okay.
people were still drawn, and we dug up those letters, and I'm sure you can find them in all your minutes and notes, that they had been asked to cease and desist several years ago.
Okay.
We got us a copy of that, and I think that this is an excellent, gentle reminder to these people, because when people talk to me, they say, how can you let some people get away with stuff and you won't let me get away with it?
Okay.
So there's no reason for
Okay.
special select people to get the privilege.
Okay, like I said, anyway, I'm not saying whether it's, I'm just saying, any way we go, I guess, then we're gonna see legal action sometime.
Okay, so will you sign the letter?
No, I'm not signing the letter. I'm
Give
just
them
saying-
Okay, we'll get it signed in.
Given the situation that we just had a huge flood and we continue to get lots of rain, maybe we could defer any activity and track it and have our general manager track those activities that people say, hey, they're doing it, so that we can individually, if need be, have a commissioner talk to the person that's violating the law, instead of putting something blanket out. Plus, I know it's already in our bylaws, or it's already in there, so that people should be able to understand what the damage could be. And, I mean, we had water on the north course where you could take and float your boat. I mean, I wasn't drawing water out of the lakes. So, let's defer this and just track it and have Benson track it so that we can in fact have some hardcore evidence of individuals who have violated the law, and then we'll sick David on.
I would think, and I would have to go back and research this, but I believe that Hot Springs Village and Bella Vista and many facilities that are like ours in Florida all have that same rule. You can't pump water out of the lakes to irrigate your yards. I'm pretty sure that's true in Corey Engineer lakes, but I could totally be wrong. It's just something I feel like that, if we had a really dry year, it's not that way now, then it could possibly be a problem if every single house on the lake, which is basically what we're saying, would be able to pump water out of the lake to irrigate their yards. So it's something we need to research, see what the other communities are doing. And to say, well, we don't want to send a letter out to offend them. Well, guess what? I don't like getting a notice when I got to renew my tags on my car every year, because I know I got to renew them, but I get a notice anyway. And Arkansas Game and Fish Commission prints regulation books, and guess what? You've got to read them every single year. Nothing changes. You've got to know what's out there. So I don't see any problem. Let them know.
We're a project. All right, let's move on. Study group update.
We're keeping on the
Is there a study group update?
Are we finished with?
Yes, I don't know.
So the old business, with that you just left, irrigation letters later.
Well, I made a suggestion.
That we defer it for a few months and have Ms. Watt track anyone who is coming to SID offices so that we have good, solid information. That was what my thoughts were. Instead of sending a letter out to everybody on the lake again, we could even publish it in the newspaper, but that wasn't what I said.
We've been tracking this for several years. Haven't we, Betsy? I mean, we pretty much know everybody that's
We've had
on
several
there.
people that have complied and pulled them out. It was very clear that it wasn't supposed to be done. In 2004, there were letters that went out, and the people that were grandfathered in were listed in that lawsuit, and that when the time came that they passed or they sold that property, that would not be passed on to the new ownership. And that's what has occurred. And several of these that
That's what I'm saying,
Okay.
If they want to take us to court, we already have a lawsuit
Okay,
that we have.
we have done our legal, duty by sending this out already, so I don't feel like there's.
Can we just send them to the people that we know are violating the rules?
yes.
That's what I was actually asking for, David.
Yeah.
So we can track it and then do it in a little softer method instead of sending it out to people who are already in compliance.
Can we do that and send it to the people we know that are?
Okay.
Until I find out, like I said, I'm going to do that research.
I make a motion to send the letters out to people that are violating that we know of. Do I have a second?
He's made a motion to send out a letter to people they know are violating. Do you have a second? Anyone?
I second it.
Susan seconds it. Have a roll call vote, please.
Susan Jett.
Yes.
Joe Kaiser.
Yes.
Tony Stallsman.
No.
David Eagle.
Yes.
Ron Page.
I'm just like,
Abstain?
I'm abstaining because there's a better way to do this.
So it's 3 yeses, 1 no, 1 abstain. So,
Yeah.
3 yeses, 1 no, 1 abstain. So the motion to send the letter to those.
Usually an abstention goes with.
But doesn't matter, still 3.
So there's three of us, so it's spread out to be.
All right, next up, that motion carries. Next up, study group update.
The study group doesn't have any authority or any decision making.
Okay.
The group compiles any findings and makes recommendations to the Cherokee Village Suburban Improvement District Board of Commissioners. This group was decided on by the Board of Commissioners last spring. I want to say March or April. I couldn't find anything that was dated until April.
Okay,
At that,
you can't go ahead.
are you done?
Yeah, no, I'll address this. I'm sorry. My apologies.
At that moment, y'all decided that you didn't have time or interest in being involved with the study group. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And I reached out to business people. I reached out to property owners. The person that was going to lead the happy band decided the date and time for us, and then he backed out. And then this group has evolved because people have gotten ill or moved away or died. And so we have there's a small group of which you guys all know their names because they've been on Facebook several times. And the group meets once a month down at Town Center in the hub. And they study, the areas of study are revenue, property engagement, lot sales, and institutional long-range planning. We have several business people on each one of those areas who have spent hours and hours with Betsy and by themselves in separate little groups, looking at our budget, looking at our revenue income stream, trying to think about how ways that we can improve where we're going to be 30 years from now. To date, there has not been any concrete idea that that board can make legible for me or to bring to the board. I don't participate, I sit on the edge as an observer. They don't ask me because I use all my words at one time, but they haven't made any decisions. And it's not that they're trying to hide anything from anybody, they just haven't made any decisions. Cherokee Village has been around since a long time, and there have been so many things that have gone wrong or started and fizzled out, and now we're doing this and that and the other thing, that we're trying to come up with a plan to present to the suburban improvement district.
Okay, so is there
Okay.
any update? I mean, so basically the update is there's no idea, no concrete idea today from the study group. It's now a study group, it's no longer a committee that we had decided upon. Just to be clear, we did not vote or put anybody on this. It was an open invitation. I got the minutes from that. It was an open invitation for anybody that wanted to be on it, to come by and be on it. And those who ended up on it were the ones that participated. And it was a committee up until November, and then it became a study group now. So it's an independent study group. Is that what I'm hearing now? Is that
It's been a
correct?
study group
It's not.
since at least
No,
July
it's
of
been-
2024.
No, ma'am. It's been a committee. It's in the minutes.
All right, okay.
It's in the minutes. So I'm just going by the minutes and what we call it. Let's move on. Comprehensive bylaws.
So what is your point?
Nothing. I mean, I don't. What was your point? I mean, there's no update. Nobody's saying anything else about it.
Demanded of me
Uh-huh.
last month that I get an update.
Okay, so you gave an update. There's no concrete idea to date what they want. So that's the update. Okay.
And Tony, I'm the one that asked for something because I've had a number of questions. And I appreciate Susan coming back and saying, hey, we're still working our, to the bone, so to speak, and we don't have anything concrete to take to the citizens of Cherokee Village. And we really were asked to provide something, and it may have to be 2 or 3 of the commissioners sit down and say, here's what our path looks like going forward.
So you're asking someone to address this committee?
Well, no, it's just,
This subject,
and that was
this
Susan's
study.
feedback, and I don't know that that committee, I mean, it sounds like they were just,
We're spinning out of
there you go, that's the best way to say it, Susan. Spinning the wheels, and we need to get something concrete, so that our people that we support have something they can get their hands and their teeth into.
So what are you suggesting then?
Well, we need an update from the different individuals, just, if nothing else, what they've been thinking about, you know, and maybe that's a June or July activity.
Okay. So I guess he's asking if they could at least have some discussion on, and give to us.
We're spending a whole new kind of.
No, just anything. I mean, is there anything that we can it be put out for publication? I don't know. Ron is just asking that he wants to see what they're talking about, basically, is that correct?
Yeah.
He just wants to know what they're talking about.
I
But
mean,
we don't have any concrete ideas right now what we're talking about? Susan?
Well, one thing but hasn't been finalized yet, the tabulation hadn't been finalized, is the group got together and came up with, they talked to several other SIDs and put together a survey, and we mailed out a survey to Ron Page. You can spit out the names of the places better than me, but at the time it was Horseshoe Bend, Hot Spring Village, and Rio Vista, and several, one in Florida. And Betsy filled out hers too and returned it, about things that the property owners do, what the property owners want at all of these other gated communities, suburban improvement districts. And the answers, and it was pages and pages of questions and surveys, they were invited to return it. And I know that the people who are working in the property and owner engagement group are still compiling those, but it's not yes, no answers or on a scale of 1 to 10. It's a whole bunch of information, but there's nothing to report from that except that we did.
They've been sent out, and we're waiting for them to come back. Okay, good. So there's something that's all right. Commissioner, comprehensive bylaws through the attorneys.
Can I speak on this?
Yeah, really. Like I said, the proposal was from the lawyers to get together with us and us a much more comprehensive, set of bylaws at their advice. Oh, that goes to the next one. Wait a minute, you get ahead of me there. So put that down there, there we go, put your thoughts down there. All right, it doesn't come without a price. They said $7,500. They did tell me that it could be less if we didn't have as many concerns. So that is what we're. They haven't done anything yet because we haven't told them to do anything yet. That was just a proposal last time. We don't even have to say vote on it today if we don't want to. But we can. If it just all depends on what y'all want to do.
So are they gonna go through each and every one of our bylaws?
They just said they just suggested.
Well, we need to get them straightened out, that's for sure.
Right, they just suggested we sit down, we straighten them out. When we get a comprehensive thing, anything and everything that we wish to include, they would get it so they can draft it up into a very nice comprehensive set of bylaws that we can refer to on a lot of issues instead of having to constantly go back to them to ask questions. So, like I said, if we're still thinking about it, it's not something we have to decide tonight. It's just something, that's the proposal, it's now in old business. So, now it's in y'all's.
Well, I fully support that thought, Tony, that we ought to have a comprehensive set of bylaws, because the ones that we've looked at are acceptable for smaller communities, and we're a pretty large community, which changes the complexion of the whole situation. And I've worked with our senator and the state legislature and the Arkansas Municipal League, and there are a lot of smaller POAs that this would work well, and a lot of smaller MRIBs, which is almost the same thing as an SID. And the larger ones really need some help through the state legislature, and we could be the lead group making that happen.
Okay. Thank you, Ron. Anybody else have any thoughts on that, or any motions, or do you want to defer this for another month to think about it?
Financially, how are we looking, Betsy, on the general fund?
Well, we've got that $220,000 we committed to for the dam at this point. We just got our first invoice from them, which was right at $48,000. We've got about, well, I don't want to quote a number in here that's not correct and get hung at the cross for it, so I would be more than happy to send you over.
Do we have the $7,500? That's basically what we're coming up.
I would say yes, that we can afford to do that, but I think personally that we need something in writing, because what they told me was that it would start at $7,500, and that we would need to give them more information about what all we want to be in this comprehensive thing. So I think there's a little more conversation.
Right.
And maybe something in writing that we could get.
Well, yeah, we definitely have to have something right.
Why don't we have Betsy move forward with this, get the prices and what we're gonna have in writing?
And then will y'all commit to sitting down and looking at the bylaws? Because so far, there's been a lot of resistance. I know in the ones that we have gone through, the sections that we have gone through, and basically just changed it from Holiday Island to Cherokee Village and scratched out parts that were not applicable to us. That, y'all are busy, you haven't had that much interest in doing. So before we hand Betsy 500 pages.
Well, so let me say this, I've already provided them the things that y'all have addressed. I mean, we've addressed the things that we needed to address and not the rest. The way I understood this is that they would give us a bullet point of the different items that would be included, and then we could say yes on what we wanted them to do, no on what we didn't, and that would be how they would start the bylaws. That was how I understood it. And I asked, how do you do it? And
So we'll table this, let Betsy find out from the lawyers, get that bullet point, thing and some more detailed, cost to what it is before we decide on that. We need to know that first. All right, so let's move on to the next one then. Commissioners and attorney contact. Because we want to make sure that we just don't call the commissioners, or we don't call the attorneys without all the commissioners' approval, or the majority of the commissioners' approval.
Well, the attorneys really are in support of the property owners, but the primary people who should be talking to the lawyers after we've identified an issue should be either the chairman, the vice chairman, or another commissioner heading up a party. And if we need to, then we can direct the general manager, like was done in the past, when the GM, before we had a new GM, after the Kronkowski lawsuit, was done. So that attorney group, that really would be up to us. They're there to support the commission.
They were
Go ahead,
said.
David. So, excuse me.
My past experience is if I've ever had a legal question, I do my research, I go online and look at the rules and regulations. And then, because this might have happened in the past, I call Betsy and ask her if she has had anything in this. And if she has, she tells me. And if not, she will call the lawyers and get, what comes down from that.
Okay.
That's just the way I've done it in the past, as past chair and everything.
And that's where we did, and that's kind of what I was saying, that we have the opportunity to make sure that we're in sync with what our thinking is.
So,
That means,
hold on, I was saying something first. So when you direct her to do that, but you don't ask the rest of us, that's the same thing as you don't direct it to the lawyer. You see what I'm saying?
That's not how.
Not yet, hold on, yeah. If
That's
you
not
direct
how
it,
it
I'm not saying that, I'm talking about what he just said, please let me speak. He said, if he doesn't cease, if he doesn't, as chairman, if he didn't understand, if he couldn't research it and he needed to contact the lawyers about it, he would contact the GM and talk to the lawyers. That's the same as if I decide to call the lawyers myself, or you decide to call the lawyers yourself without getting permission from the rest of the thing. Now, if you've gotten permission from the rest of us and done that, that would be fine too, is what we were trying to say last time. Y'all were telling me that you wanted me to make sure that I have permission from at least the majority of the rest of the commission before I contacted the lawyers. And I understand that.
No.
So what was the fuss about?
Well, we were saying, look at the amount of money that was spent with my contract.
I understand that because you said I didn't.
What I'm saying, Tony, is when I had a legal problem like that, I didn't call the lawyers. I called Betsy.
Right.
And asked her if she had ever come across a problem like this, and if she hadn't, she calls the lawyers.
Okay. Now, then again, she calls the lawyers on an issue that you want to find out some legal advice from, without asking the rest of us if we need one to talk to the lawyers.
It has to do with SID.
So the thing I did too.
but
It
Tony,
had to do with it.
I'm gonna talk over you for a second. Why are you compelled to disregard our general manager?
I'm not disregarding our general.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead. I apologize. Please.
Anyway,
Susan, can you speak in the microphone?
Why do you feel compelled to disregard the general manager?
Yeah, that's it.
Why do you not just talk to Betsy about all of your concerns? Because we all have had concerns since I've been a commissioner, and we all call Betsy because she keeps a running list.
Again, I'm gonna say, I'm not disregarding the general manager in that question that I'm asking David. What I said was, David going to the GM, I don't care who the GM is, and the GM going to the lawyers, and with an issue, a city issue, without discussing that call with the rest of us, is the same thing as me going directly to the lawyer and asking about city issues without going to the rest of us. It's the same exact thing. It doesn't matter if the GM does it, or somebody gets the GM to do it, if the GM does it, or one of the commissioners does it. If what you're saying is, before we call lawyers, that we all are in accord, that we all know about it, and that we all are in agreement that the lawyers need to be contacted on any city issue. So you don't think that, you think the GM should just have blanket approval to call the lawyers anytime? That's cheap.
But here's the thing, Tony, I signed the letters to the lawyers, and yes, you can certainly claim that you are due some of that discount that we got for the last set of bills.
It's not, that's not what's on the issue, so what is it?
May I please?
No, ma'am, listen, we are making, I am not getting into an argument. I am respecting the church. I'm trying to, we have last time you said before, you wanted to make sure that before a commissioner calls a lawyer, that the rest of us commissioners are in agreement for them to call. That was the issue. And I said that, and if that's the way you want to do it, I'm fine with that. I'm in agreement with that. But what I'm saying was, you can't just tell one of us can't just tell the GM to call the lawyers about an issue without the rest of us not knowing about it. That's the same thing,
If you
especially
would
when it's an
allow me,
SID issue.
I can explain to you how that happens, Mr. Stallsmith, because it is my job, and it is part of the day-to-day
I didn't ask,
operations.
I'm sorry I did not ask you this one. I apologize, but I understand that. I'm not saying that
If
you.
I could speak, this whole conversation would be over. You're sitting giving examples.
Okay,
that are not
listen.
facts. The fact is that if a commissioner has a concern about something, and I have multiple contacts with the attorneys over lawsuits that are going on, other questions, bylaws, I can say in an email or a text, hey, I have a quick question. It's not a 30 or 45-minute call from a commissioner, and then I turn around and have that conversation with them and get charged again. What has happened in the past is that the commissioners have come to me with their questions, and I compile an email and send that to them, and then once the answer comes back, I share it with you all.
Okay,
And
that,
that's how it has worked for the past 3.5 years,
Okay.
and you've been a part of that, Tony.
okay, I'm not, I'm gonna
Before
say,
you were a chair, you said in those
Okay.
same conversations.
I understand what you're saying.
So
Here's
your
what
example
I'm,
is incorrect.
okay, I got, no, my example is correct. What I'm saying is, please, I'll let you speak.
Can y'all stop slamming the microphone? It's really loud.
Yeah, thank you. What I'm saying is, there's no difference when I call the commissioner, or I call the lawyer myself, without getting everybody's permission, than one of us commissioners talking to you, and you sending it to the lawyers, and getting that without the rest of us knowing that that's being done. It still costs money either way. When they talk to you, anytime they get any correspondence from you or anything, or have to look up anything that has to do with that issue, it costs money. So I am in a favor of us, at any time that, even if it's to contact you, even if we do it, contact Betsy, let her, but everybody needs to know that that's being done. You contact the lawyers about a lot of things that I don't even know that's being done, so I think all commissioners need to be know it, and that they ought to be advised that the lawyers are being contacted on a certain issue. That is all I'm saying.
I think I'm the one that's guilty for bringing this up. I made a motion that we do that and get, sort of let everybody know what's going on. And the reason being is you had racked up a pretty good bill there, $3,000 to $4,000 in attorney fees, because every time you pick up the phone and call them, they go ding, they push the timekeeping clock. And here's the reason. I understand what Betsy's saying. So to try to clear the muddy water up, Betsy has a big list of things that she could contact them about, and then she could say, hey, I've got something, let me ask you real quick, and that doesn't involve the ding timekeeper. So when Tony Stallsmith calls, ding, this timekeeper, whatever minutes it works up, that's what we gotta pay for. If she includes it in general information that she's gaining, then we're all okay, and maybe we could all talk about it and agree on what information we need and try to convey that to her so she can get it in a broad spectrum instead of it going on the top.
Right.
That was the only thing I was doing.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm agreeing, but that when if someone has a concern that needs to go to lawyers, that we all know about it first, give it to Betsy and let her go to the lawyers and put it in with that thing as you said, so that we're not all going to, I'm agreeing with it.
Great.
That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So the point is, if we have a concern and we want Betsy to put it in anything, that we all need to know about it first, so that we know that she's going to do it. One of us can't go to her and say, hey, ask you this question too. That is still an extra time that's going to be dealt with, that little issue itself. So that's all I'm saying. We can include that in the comprehensive bylaws. Just gonna wait and let us get it back in. Okay?
They go in there.
Okay. And then we don't need to worry about anything else on that. Let us move on. I don't want to spend all day. All right, next, new business. We have a proposal from a commissioner for the increased number of positions. Who's making this proposal? Have you used Jeff? Is this your?
It was conversation.
Yes, do you have a proposal for this now, a formal
When
proposal?
you talked over me, I figured you were done with it, so I let it go.
I didn't talk about it, it's a new business now.
Can I say something on this?
Yes.
Where this come from, I don't know.
Okay.
Social media has taken this and blown it completely out of proportion. First off, as commissioners, we cannot grant more commissioners. It has to be an election by law. We cannot do it. So where this came from, I have no idea. It's completely asinine, excuse my French. But social media took and blew this completely out of
Okay, so let me ask, is there a proposal for increased positions?
Not that I know.
There is not a proposal.
Okay, then there's no, then we don't,
There
then,
was some discussion, and I
Okay.
still think it'd be good to have some discussion about that, but I'm done.
Okay.
Keep talking, Tony, just please, keep talking.
Well,
yes, ma'am.
we are bound by a lawsuit. It's not. We have 5 commissioners. Most cities have 7 commissioners, but because of the lawsuit, we got 5. Okay? And like I said, there's no way we can increase it as a board. It has to come from the property owners if you want to do it. And there's a procedure to go through it. And I think it takes, if I'm not mistaken, 66% of the property, or is it 35? 25?
Per the law of this city, we have 5 commissioners.
Right. But,
Okay, listen.
that's right.
So we don't have a proposal.
We don't have a proposal.
Okay, so let's move on. We have time for property owners, 3 minutes to comment if they like.
Jane Madison, 6 Arapahoe Road, in the village. I just had, I drew some questions. In regards to the water situation, regularly I see somebody come down to the river there by the North Golf Course, and they fill one of those large white containers full of water. Is that against or do we know, I guess, do we know if it's against the rules or anything like that? So I could, right now, I could do the same thing if I so chose to. The thing about the attorneys, didn't the attorneys review the existing bylaws? Weren't they reviewed by the attorneys? The existing bylaws when we did the, whatever that other town is?
Holiday Island.
Thank you.
You're talking about the Holiday Island updates, is what you're talking about. And yes, they did take a look at it, but it is not consistent with what we need to be able to do for a larger SID.
When does the study group meet, Susan?
On the first Wednesday of each month,
And
at
anyone
4
know?
o'clock.
Sure. Okay.
You are correct, sir.
He said that in this meeting, there was a big stink about it.
First Wednesday, 4 o'clock.
You are correct.
All right.
The other thing was the last discussion, everything like that, and I just jotted down the thoughts, and that's all. The commissioners need to have a working meeting in regards to the questions you have for legal, when you turn them over. Maybe you need to have a working meeting and discuss them amongst yourself before you pass them on to the general manager to then contact the co-lawyers and that. So that was just a thought.
That would be nice if we could do that, but if we have two commissioners, we have to have an open public forum. So that would be fantastic in my mind, to have every single property owner.
So that would have to be a special meeting, is that what you're saying?
We can't do, behind the scenes,
Be a lot of meetings.
like you see at City Hall with the council members.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Next, please. Mr. James.
Jerry White.
Good question.
Jimmy White. She would ask him who, and I said Jimmy White.
Right.
Jimmy,
Landfill, I don't know if everybody knows this, maybe it's my ignorance, the fact that, I took a load out there, and you know, I had to buy 2 people that helped me, a hard hat and vest. I wonder how many people, and when that was done, and how long that's been going on. And, I didn't pay for it, I went and got one from the city. The guys over there on Potawatomi, over there, let me have one of them let me have a hard hat and a vest, because, you know, that's wrong. I don't know how long this has been going on.
Has nothing to do with us.
Can I ask?
No,
that's for waste management, that's not us.
Can we speak on that? Can we speak on that?
yeah, I'll come talk to you.
That's what y'all say, the reason why we did that is you're around maybe one minute. You went.
No, I understand that, but they didn't have to pay for it before.
Yes, that's something short.
All right, hey, y'all can discuss that.
Anyway,
Anything else?
just wondering about the, so we're not gonna redo the, tennis courts over here?
We have not decided anything yet.
Pickleball?
We have not decided anything yet. We're still getting this estimate from the adjusters on what money comes with
Okay, Raccoon Springs, is that part of the city thing?
that. No, it's not. That's Waterworks.
Who does?
Waterworks says that's a private
Waterworks
property.
has no oversight at all.
Well, you'd have to talk to Waterworks about that.
They don't want to talk about it.
I don't know what to say about that.
What do you think? How about the garden out there? Whose
We're
deal
not-
is that? The garden that's overgrown with weeds and stuff?
At Raccoon Springs?
Yeah.
And that's Waterworks. You'd have to talk to Waterworks about it. It's not us.
Got to talk to them again? I've already done it.
I don't know what to say. We cannot control Waterworks.
Garden.
Yeah, garden and baseball.
That's property owner.
They
Is
start,
that Johnson
Property,
Road?
on property.
okay? Is that time?
Okay, well, I'll just bring up about the bees later, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for your question, sir.
I am Sherry, and I live on Lake Shore.
You're sharing,
Lammers, Lammers.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
We're gonna check the mic.
My name is Sherry Lammers. I live on Lake Shadid. I am semi-new here, and I've been here to the city meeting twice now. And I would like to ask all of you to set aside your rudeness, your judgments against each other, grow up, and leave your snarkiness and unnecessary language at home for your own friends and family. This is a professional business and needs to be essential to remain professional so we can move forward without interrupting and letting each other talk. It's called professional respect. This is also, goes against municipal rules and Robert's rules.
Thank you very much.
All right, I won't give you a heart attack. Dave Griffith, East Lake Shore. I won't give you a heart attack. I know people do this often, but y'all did good. Thank you for,
Okay,
I said said, y'all did good. I appreciate y'all voting to, do the right thing and transfer the firehouses to the city. That was a plus amount.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
I just have one request for the people that live on the lake.
And you
guys-
are?
I'm so sorry, Kathy Eagles, I live on Lake Omaha. Okay, my concern is that, every year when you guys spray, last year, I know there were people that thought it was not going to be, something Roundup based, mixed chemicals like that, and that was what it was. Could you let the people know on Lake Omaha when you're gonna have that contracted person do this, so that people aren't out there in that, give it a chance to dissipate? Because there are some icky side effects from it.
Yes, I'm sure we can do that.
Yeah.
I can tell you that this week, or last week is when he started, and I couldn't tell you which lake he was gonna start on first, but Navajo was at the top of the list, so.
Well, I'd appreciate it, and if you want some help on a weekend, I can come in and help call people, but I think you need to have everybody's email that's on the lakes, so you can send an email, that way it doesn't cost anything, just send them an email.
Okay.
That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Is there anybody else that'd like to speak?
I make a motion.
Go ahead. Well, is there a reason for executive session? We don't have any,
Do we have any need for?
we don't have any personnel issues? So is there a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Dave Eagles, second by Joe Kaiser, all in favor?